right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. It is Comics News Today for what is this? The 16th of January? I think it is. Very happy to have you guys in here. Keep in mind that in a couple hours, we're going to be doing our Drawn and Quartered Ultimate Edition, and we got Rick Piper's Canadian Shield coming on for that. So definitely come check that out. John Diller will be in causing trouble, I am sure, because that's what John does. But nevertheless, guys, it is always awesome to speak to you every day in the morning. My morning, I got some coffee. I'm ready to go, man. And we're going to be getting into this momentarily, of course. But as usual, please check out all those links down below and get in contact with us if you want to be on the show. We're always happy to see a new face around here. And also hit that share button and let your family, friends, and extended community know what's going on so they can come over here and join us live. But let's come over and say hello to our panelists we have here today. We have the man himself from the creator of Ignition, also IndieCom TV dude. And he's also Thor dude now. He's got a lot of dude titles. It's Todd.
Right. Hey, how you doing, Chester?
I am awesome, man. I'm very happy. Happy to
What's the
happy
weather
to,
like over there?
huh?
What's the weather? What do you got for weather over there right now?
It's not great. It's very overcast. We're gonna have a kind of rainy weekend, which is too bad, man. I got myself a pretty big gig tomorrow. It's an inside gig, so I guess it doesn't matter. But when you get to rainy days, the crowds tend to be a little less, right? But the place I'm going tends to be absolutely packed when I go, though. So I don't know. We'll see. But it might affect it. So gotta have fun though. We're going. We got a couple new songs in the band. We're doing this
Ooh,
Saturday. We're doing uh, someday, maybe after a while, which is I don't know if you guys do music, and I know there's a few musicians in the group here, but those of you who do music, you all understand when I say sometimes when your band or you are putting together a song, it's just instantly correct. And that's usually not. It takes a little bit. Now I got a very professional group of musicians around me, and we it doesn't take but two or three runs, and it's good enough for stage. But it's very rare that something just snaps, instantly snaps. And that song, someday, maybe after a while, it bangs, man. It's going to be. I'm looking forward to debuting it tomorrow. And we're also doing John Mayer's Gravity, which is a bit terrifying because I have to sing it.
Fancy. Todd just dropped. He was like, "No, John Mayer, I'm out."
I'm out. Too bad. No, because that is a favorite of my wife's, and of course it's a great song anyway. I do blues. I do kind of that growly blues really well. That's the voice I can do. Other things I'm not as good at. I mean, I've worked really hard over the course of 2 decades to make myself a singer because I'm not one. Right? I'm a saxophone player, but the gravity one it's terrifying, dude. But I've practiced it a lot, and I get a lot of emotion in it. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to give it my best shot. But because John Mayer, he's far better vocalist than you think he is, right? I mean, because he has this kind of subtlety to him, you know. But that song Gravity is so strict. I mean, you can't even be like a quarter pitch off, man. It's one of those songs, but it's just stunning. You guys like Gravity? No, no love.
Keeps me on the ground. That's good.
Yeah, it does. I'll talk. Thank you. The joke.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
anyway, so yeah, I hope the weather will be good, Todd, and we'll have a good showing tomorrow. But nevertheless, thank you for being here. We also, as you guys can see, we have a Pixel Trader. How you doing, dude?
I'm doing very well, man. When are we going to hear you actually play? Are you going to record any of these anytime soon?
I've played a couple of things, and people yelled at me for wasting time with music on the stream. So
No, well, I mean, like record it, put like a little video up on the channel or something. Hey, it's Bugbear rocking out on the sax, or I
uh,
don't know.
I guess I could. Todd's having a bear of a day.
Yeah,
I do have some recordings. I mean, we're just a lounge band, right? I mean, we're not a pro band. We're a semi-pro band, right? But I guess I could. It just feels a little bit arrogant from my point of view. Um,
eh.
Yeah, it's kind of way well, probably why I haven't put it up. I mean, this when the musicians in the band, those we're all a bunch of they're all retired guys really, or close to it, and they're outstanding. I'm the weakest link for sure. With the singing, right? My saxophone's fine. Saxophone is pro level, and it's always been that way. But the singing, it's one of those things. I can't sing everything. I have to really, really be careful what I pick to sing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
makes
just
sense.
that kind of situation. Because I'm not a natural singer. I've really had to learn so many techniques. I've had to really learn to be a singer because the odd thing of me singing "Gravity" tomorrow for the first time with the band is the fact that I met John Mayer about 15 years ago here in Japan at a gigantic festival that I was playing at. I was in a all-star Japanese all-star jazzy fusion band that called Cornucopia, and I was playing in that band. It was just killer musicians, right? And I'm on the saxophone, but it was like a Spyro Gyra type of thing, if you know what that is, meaning no vocals. It's all instrumentation, right? And it was a lot of fun. And John Mayer was in backstage, of course. There's several other fairly famous people, and so I'm just chatting with him in the green room, like the interesting thing, if you're part of some kind of community like music or actor, it doesn't really matter your level. You're just family in a weird way. But anyway, I was just talking to him, and he's a very good at what he does, right? So I asked him, I said, "Hey, you got any advice for us?" He said, "Yeah, get a singer." And I said, "Yes,
Nice.
sir." So I took up the mantle, and whew, man, it's taken a while. I started with rockabilly, which was the easiest thing I could do at the time, and slowly but surely I progressed myself into something more sophisticated, I guess. But you know,
Nice. Nice.
yeah,
Well, I mean, you mentioned it being kind of like egotistical or something, but I don't think it's any worse than being on stream 4, 5, 6 days a week talking about comics. you know,
yeah,
we're
but
out
we're
here putting
just
out our opinions. I know,
yeah.
but you know what I mean, man. It's cool. So there's good stuff happening on my side of things, real quick.
Hmm.
Indicron, I decided to go ahead and add Kickstarter to it. I've finished the code for it. I've got pretty much everything tested and ready to go. There's a campaign launching hopefully later today, unless it's already launched. I didn't get a notification yet, but Niobe, the next book from Larry Higgins, is going to be going up as the first Kickstarter book on
Hmm.
Indiecron. So cool stuff happening. We're going to have a lot of stuff there. We've got printer stuff going on behind the scenes.
Hmm.
That's going to be fun.
It is,
So
and just let it. We need to. We don't take enough time with Indie these days, actually. So I'm going to have to pay attention to that and throw that on that up and talk about that on one of the shows. You should come back
sure.
and talk about that Kickstarter program actually, because I think it's cool, dude, that you're doing that. I mean, I was an instant supporter of what you were doing from the beginning. I was like, all right,
Yeah.
that's the right thing to do, and it was a bit weird to me because initially, we saw a lot of support for you. We saw some waning, then we saw some returning support, and then we saw some waning. And I don't know where the status is now, but it just was weird to me because it was clear from a business owner and just a manager executive type of point of view that that's exactly what you want and need for what you're trying to do inside your comic skate or your indie revival or whatever you want to call it. It's exactly what you need, and you had the production value to make it happen. So it's kind of strange to me that it wasn't just everyone just embraced you with with glue upon their arms. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there were some varied opinions and stuff, and some some things that happened along the way. I mean, the one thing to keep in mind now, and some people know about this, some people don't yet, but Edwin actually stepped down as the quote senior ambassador for Indicron.
Hmm.
So it's back to me now, just me, and I'm just going to roll with it solo. I I think that the growth and the ideas that I have in mind and things that I want to do with it, uh, I have that clear runway now. That I
Hmm.
can put everything into it. I don't have to rely on anybody else as far as promoting it or doing whatever. It all falls on my shoulders, and I think it's about time that I stepped up a little bit more and became more of a face for it. So that's what I'm trying to do right now.
Cool.
And
I
there's
think it's a great
a
idea.
lot of good stuff.
A
Yeah,
great idea. Yeah, absolutely. Don't let so many people come in and put a miasma around your vision. You shouldn't allow that. Now, of course,
yeah,
keep in mind, and I'm sure there's others that have said this to you. You need any help whatsoever, ever, you just give a holler, and I'm going to help you out, whatever you need,
yeah.
man. Right?
The biggest thing that I need really is just to get more people to know about it, and that's been the hardest thing is trying to branch out to other groups. So I just made a connection to another group. I'll put you in touch with them as well. They're a website that promotes a ton of indie creators, primarily Kickstarter,
Yeah.
interestingly enough. And I think that's going to be where I tap a bigger audience.
Yeah.
So
No,
I've
dude, that's smart. Yeah. There you go. We were trying
yeah,
to do that for a while. Yeah, that's
yeah,
good.
we're trying. So the funny thing is, this entire time, even back in 2018 when I launched the site, one of the biggest things these guys kept saying is grow your audience, get your own audience, grow, grow, grow. And a lot of people have kind of shifted to this whole only CG thing, CG only, CG only, CG only. That is great for some people. And if you want to find books that are just for CG people, awesome. But what we really need to do if we're going to grow an audience, we can't live in that echo chamber. We've got to reach out. We've got to grab normies. We got to get people that don't even know what CG means. And you
Yeah.
get those people to look at stuff. So if that means I go and grab somebody from Kickstarter, for instance, if somebody found a book or was looking for a book on Kickstarter, happened to find my site through Google, and then they come in and they look and they go, oh, wow, there's all these other projects on Indiegogo. What is Indiegogo? All of a sudden, they've gone down a rabbit hole. They may back 3, 4 books. You don't really know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
every single eye that you can bring from outside that has not seen these books before is another chance to make a sale. And that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, no, I agree. And of course, we're in the new year. We had the holiday stuff, so I'm going to get back into doing interviews with people and such. So I need to get back on that anyway. But
Yeah.
no, of course, as with many of the people listening, I'm sure, I came into this whole thing through Captain Cummings, actually. Right? And of course, then Richard Meyer, who branched out, was made by Captain Cummings, and he became something much larger. And then, of course, a guy who had been watching his art channel for quite a while, all of a sudden got involved, and here come Ethan, right? So I was in the very beginning. I guess if you go to Titleist Comicsgate, I was Comicsgate in the beginning, but very quickly it started becoming a clique. And I'm like, that's not the right move, guys. You want to expand this thing. You want to get out into all the indie world. You those web comics guys that are absolutely killing it. We need to expand into that. We need to reach out and become a community for the betterment of comic books. That's what my whole shtick was about, as it was
Yeah.
with many, many people. And unfortunately, they cut themselves off at the neck, right? And you couldn't do that because there's a ton of little channels like this one. There's a whole bunch of them that were attached to that initial, just wonderful wave of emotion and positivity that came out initially, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we're too small. We can't go out and bring an indie community in. Now, some of these bigger names could, but not us little guys. So we're kind of stuck behind this Comicsgate umbrella, even though it's been abandoned many times by everybody, and like this channel, we were like even when I actually decided to make the channel, which was a little bit after it all started. The very first video I did, if you guys don't remember, you can go back and check it, was "What is wrong with Comicsgate?" Right? That
Yep.
was the first video on this channel.
Yep.
So I don't know.
Yeah. We've been having these discussions for a long time, and it's
Yeah,
how do you grow an audience? How do you get bigger? How do you handle your pricing and all this stuff? And it's the same thing over and over again. And I'm at a point now where I know not everybody's going to listen, and I know they're not going to necessarily follow my lead or even promote what I'm doing. But whatever, it doesn't bother me that the big guys aren't taking notice as much. I'm not doing it for the big guys. They can fund their stuff all they want.
yeah.
They never needed me to begin with. But the little guys that are getting like 30, 40 people that back their books that have upper level of funding at around the $2,000 to $5,000 range. I've seen Indiecron be 50% of their funding
Oh
or
yeah,
close to it.
yeah.
And so I won't stop what I'm doing because I know it's helpful.
Mm.
But I'm hoping that along the way, we're able to grow something that's really going to help a lot more people get their vision out there.
Yeah. Well,
Whatever.
no, and
It,
and like I said, dude, the fact that they didn't embrace you wholeheartedly, and like it was basically, it was very a very thin veneer of support, off and on, right?
sure.
It
Yeah.
shows a lack of vision from their point of view, which is why they are artists and not businessmen. They're not, and this
I
is
think
why
it
we're
might just be
seeing.
a lack of understanding of what
I
it
think it's
was that I was
just,
trying
I
to
just think
accomplish.
it's their head up their damn ass, is what it is, actually.
It could be. It could be. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna insinuate anything, but I do think that they started to recognize, but then there were things that have occurred and some falling outs here and there that have wound up fracturing a lot of the goodwill. And you know, one thing I have noticed is my name has come up a number of times in the last couple streams that I've seen,
Mhm.
and so they are looking at what I'm doing, but
It
it's
should
more
be.
like they want me to go back to trying to do a CG only type thing.
Yeah,
But
no, see, now, I'm just gonna give him my advice for free, dude. Like I said, you need any help, I will. You know I will help you. This channel doesn't exist without you, and I like you anyway on the side. But here's the thing, dude. Do not care what anybody else thinks. You do your thing.
oh yeah, I'm where I'm at right now. I know exactly what I have in plan. I literally I have a server sitting over here at the house that's got a backlog of content and stuff that I want to develop on it. It's got a list of all of the ideas that I've worked with and that I stuff that I've had saved since 2018.
Mhm.
It's unleashed now. I'm ready to go. So I'm building out a bunch of stuff,
Sweet.
and as soon as this Kickstarter stuff gets launched, I'm going straight into the printers.
There you
I'm going to
go,
be
dude.
adding printer information for every campaign that I can get the information from. So you're going to know who
Yeah,
printed it, what the paper weights were, what type of printer setup it was. Was it like a web printer? Was it an actual offset? Was it printed
yeah.
at home? You're going to learn that information from there, and you're going to be able to decide who you want to have print your books.
There you go. And you're also talking about making information available for the creators to get in touch with good printers as well. And you
Oh
even
yeah,
talked
right
about
now
doing this from the beginning, by the way.
from the beginning, and it got pushed off a couple times.
Yeah.
People didn't think it was such a good idea because it was maybe undercutting some of the pricing. I don't care anymore. I'm ready to put the information in front of people and let them decide how they want to do it.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know if any of them listened or have any ear to what I have to say anyway. But I would say this to them: a lot of you guys are really good artists. You are have spent your lifetime, your whole lives making yourselves just skilled and amazing. And for me, like when I like we're doing the drone recorded later, it's still kind of like magic to me to see that happen from my point of view. But here's the thing: if you want to take any advice, I have been a businessman nearly my entire adult life, right? Nearly, right? And I'm telling you, you need to open your eyes and pay attention to what is good business. If you can't do that, then take some of this money, some of you, especially you big guys who've made big time money, you take some of that money and go hire someone who does, right? I mean, I'm sure there are a ton of businessmen and consultants and stuff you can find all over the place in America. I'm sure, right? Go and get someone who has the ability to understand what business is and how you make a business. Because the little guys, they're not going to be able to make a business out of it. If they can get it printed and put a couple bucks in their pocket, good for them. Maybe the next one will make a little more money, et cetera, et cetera, and that's fine. And we've met many people like that, and I just wish them the most success in the world. But the bigger guys who can make real money, they need to function more like Doug TenNapel because Doug TenNapel understands the business side of it. He's the only one I've seen who does, right? And look how and he's the most successful guy that was ever part of any of this, right?
Yeah, if nothing else, he definitely identified the value add
Yeah,
aspect of crowdfunding
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. And it's another thing too. One of the things that Doug did is something you see standard happen with companies that became very successful. I think Honda is a perfect analogy in this case. Honda operated at a net loss for decades, right? And of course, now to be fair, they were getting governmental support, but they operated net loss for decades because they knew in the long run it would be successful. And during those, that's why some of those early Hondas, particularly motorcycles, the early models are so valuable and so collectible these days because they overproduced those things so that Honda had an image of excellence, right? And Doug has done the same thing. Now, I think he's made some money as well, but those books he's putting out, they are way overproduced. They're way beyond what he had to make. But he did it because he's trying to establish himself as a graphic novel creator. And it's brilliant. It's exactly what you should be doing, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But anyway, it's not, it's comic news. It's definitely comic news. You
Yeah,
know.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me. Hey, we got DeWolf in here. He's going to have a common opinion. But before he gives you his opinion, I'm going to go come and see the chat and see what everyone's having a conversation about. They're probably yelling at me, I'm sure. Let me see here. Roger Heller's in here. He gives us his blessings and wonderful, words that he always gives. We're really happy to have Roger in here. We've got Model 3, who's contemplative, which is pretty cool. We got Nick C. says, keep it clean tonight. No WWE porn. I cannot promise anything, sir. But actually, Nick, can you do me a favor and put in the chat? You guys put comments. We never push it, but you guys put some of you guys put comments in the below the video. I don't respond to them because they're not really questions. They're just kind of statements, and that's cool. I read them all. And Nick, you put something in there that I didn't understand yesterday or the day before. If you could tell me what it was, I maybe I'm just being dense. I don't know. Eric says, "Hello everybody, subscribe, like, and share." Sweet, Mr. Moderator's on it. Oh, boo hoo, rain. We are getting 8 hours of snow, sleet, and freezing rain tomorrow. Suck it up, Buttercup. I wish I was where you were. I love snow. I don't ever get snow. Why don't we ever get to hear any of your stuff, Chester? I've played some of the stuff on the channel before, dude, and everybody was like, "Oh God, boring," right? Which whatever. Dave's in here. Hey, Dave, we got Eric continuing. He's still on me. He says, "Yeah, we want Chester music. You guys want a lot of Chester stuff. I don't have that many parts there, Eric." Nick, Chester's news today. Yeah, sorry about that. But Chester's in Japan for Bullet. Yep. Thank you. Thank you. Just go ahead and pile on, you bastards. Booster, who is an absolute lightweight, says, Pixel, we always loved you, and don't you forget it. Now, of course, he knows that, dude. Does not like the new Niobe has launched yet. Doesn't look like the new Niobe has launched yet. Anybody got any information on Niobe? I think we had that
Yeah.
that artist on, didn't we?
I don't know if you had the artist, but you probably had the creator.
Everybody had the creator. Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
Niobe coming up. No, so no information. Okay. Unlike weirdos who only like you to take advantage of your platform. Yeah, well, Uh, there are a lot of people who don't know who CG is. Dude, I would say the majority of the world. Booster, once again, commenting but not in here. CG was always a terrible idea. Why react to the big two becoming a invite only club by creating the same thing? Ooh, slashing words, Booster. But fair point, though. Fair point. And the thing, one of the things I argued from the beginning, and I kind of, DeWolf's in here. I'm kind of curious what he has to say on this. But one of the things I said from like the very beginning when they started using that Comicsgate title was, well, aren't they Comicsgate? Because they're the controversy, right? I never got that. Any comments on that, DeWolf?
Oh my goodness, you finally got to me. Are you serious, Chester?
Hey, man, I was working up to it.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I got three things now to hey there, Pixel. To work on. First off, let me say that I'm kind of out and about, right? So I wasn't able to get to the standard link, and I'm not at home. But on what Pixel's doing, great job. I've been waiting. I think all of us have been waiting for you to get to this point. We've been cheering for you in the background, sometimes in your face, talking amongst each other so much about how we're wanting what we saw IndieCron come out to be at first to flourish. It's almost like it's been put under a rock a little bit, and I wouldn't say not coddled. Yeah, put under a basket and held under there, throttled a little bit, strangled, and now it's like boom, the full plumage of what Indicron can be. I think just with you pushing forward with what you want I think is going to be a good deal and has a lot more legs for distance now.
Amen.
Yeah. Um,
No.
That was one.
that was one. Yeah. So the next one, maybe it's four. Chester, you got to play some music. The next one is this CG thing. Oh no, the business thing. Yes, Chester, completely right.
Mm.
There's great artists, and you're right. I do the same thing. It's fairly magical. It's a bunch of little scribbles, little lines that are going on a page, and all of a sudden there's this absolute illusion of depth and reality that
Yeah.
occurs. And it's almost like I know other people do it when a musician plays an instrument. You pick it up, it's a bunch of wooden strings or in your case, uh, metal and wood wrapped up in a tube,
True.
and you blow through it and something magical comes out and there's a tune, you know. And I've seen other people do that, you see that a lot in younger kids when they walk up
Hmm.
and you start playing music. It's just like that Pied Piper effect, and their eyes glaze over and they go, wow, there's pretty sounds coming out of this thing and you're doing it. That's the way us normal people act, and are thinking when artists put that ink down on the page, and all of a sudden there's a piece of artwork. There's people and monsters and whatever jumping out on the page. Then it's so cool to see. Yet there's so many of them that have no clue. It's just
Yeah.
on how to bring that forward. And they got some clue. They're doing it. They're trying, but there needs to be something more. Um, there's always a thing like a gimmick, or a marketing plan, or something, a vision to bring something bigger. And a lot of them think that way. They want to be involved in something big. They want to have a big project, and just don't know that step. And I think part of that, I'm gonna get on my own bandwagon for a second. Part of that is the writing effect, especially when you're talking comic books. Having a story that really grabs a hold of you, brings you in, and is there for the long run, but gets you quickly. You got to quickly get in there. If you read 5 pages of a book and it's not exciting already, put it down. And so that's the way these comics are. You got to get in there, and you've got more pages, usually 20 or 40 or 60, as far as these graphic novels go,
Hmm.
to get a hold of people's attention so that they want to buy the next one. And that requires a good, deep story that's rich, and it's happened so few times in the last, and I'm talking even from Marvel to DC and even the Comics Gate guys. Um, Anything there before I go on to the last point?
No. My,
All right.
we're all in agreement, I think.
Oh yeah. I see your avatar is like bobbing up and down a little bit, in nodding.
Hmm.
So and then the next thing, yeah, is Comics Gate. I mean, it's just, um I'm not totally with you on the fact that it was a bad idea to take the name, because it was a slap in the face, and so to take that mantle and say that this is something that you mean for it to be bad, and we're gonna make it good. And it's it's something you could get under, you could grab a hold of. People could understand. People could say, "Where did this come from? Why is this here? What is this name about?" And it's kind of familiar. We've heard of the gatey thing before. It's everywhere.
Mm.
Anything in the government's a gate, so it's familiar. Yet it was pushed around it was used, it was abused, and then it was grabbed a hold of. It was strangled, and then of course you end up not actually making it what it should have been, which was that positive consumer and conservative movement. The people involved were not truly the conservative people that are constantly under attack in the constant society. The current society that we see today is not who was under attack. And the people that gravitated and started using Comicsgate, those pro people. It's funny, the pro people that became Comicsgate when it was really the consumers. They're the ones that actually manipulated it, much like the industry they came out of, and that's why we are. It is where it is today, and I know we just got a YouTube strike because I brought it up and I told the truth.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that. I told you about that.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, let me see here. You guys want to hear something? All right, I just kind of grabbed the clip real quick. Fine, here you go. Let me see if I can see what I'm doing over here. You guys can see that, I'm assuming? Yeah. Let me
No.
play it, and hopefully it's not too loud. Hold on a second. All right, here we go.
We got Todd back.
We're supposed to set
This is a song I wrote a long time ago.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's awesome. That's enough.
Oh, that's the good part.
No. Oh yeah, that is the good part.
All right. But the fact that you
Oh
want to cut it
wow.
off is why I don't play them, because every time I do, you guys, oh, that's enough of that. You see.
Well, it was really cool. That was awesome, Chester. Wow, cool. Nice.
Thank you very much. But
I didn't hear a word of it or any notes whatsoever. We're all over on this side.
oh,
I'm
that's right.
telling
Of
you.
course, you guys didn't hear it, but they did. I don't know. Well, there you go, chat. I played
No,
it for
I
you.
listened to it. It was really, really cool.
Oh, thank you. Damnation says me too. I don't know if that's he's agreeing with someone or he's just hashtagging himself. Model is tabletop snail combat is the future. I agree. I'm launching a new campaign in April. Eric says, sweet. Come on the channel and talk about it. Model's going on about people being clueless, and I'm sure he's talking about Booster. But I don't have to be mean to him all the time. Let's see. Here we go. Chester is going to show us his grandpa music. Booster, you can go straight to hell. Right? It didn't take that long to vert it. No Ezra Miller's news. No, we're not. No, Booshin's not on. It's Ezra's only for him, and now I guess it's only Henry Cavill news, which I don't think is as cool. I kind of think Ezra Miller's a much better mascot, to be honest with you. Killed it and wearing and is wearing its corpse as a skin. I don't know what that means. Anyone else kind of chubbing or just me? Thank you, Booster. We can't hear it. Crank it, Daddy. That sax player is really phoning it in. Model, you can bite me twice, dude. All right. The B sharp's alive. Yeah, there you go. Who is the gorilla on the saxophone? That's me. That's one of the reasons why I play a tenor, because that alto, it looks really like a gorilla on a little teeny instrument, actually. But thanks, dude. This be some sex music, yeah, baby. I like it, Daddy. Well, you're welcome. The best part is we can hear it in the Hangouts. Yes. Dang, I'm getting moist. Oh, thank you, Eric. I wish the women were saying that. Well, Jennifer says saxophone and clap. So why didn't you make the moist comment, Jennifer? Chester, take off your shirts. Screw you, Booster. This music will surely get Booster laid. Yeah. This is one of those saxophones that has a kazoo for a mouthpiece. No, that's actually a really nice mouthpiece. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that. More. I want an entire concert. Henry Cavill better than Ezra. Dave says. All right. Chester makes the sax sound good. Oh, thank you, dude. And I appreciate it. Anyway, we haven't actually looked at any news today, and it's already 40 minutes into the show. Interesting. Huh.
You're welcome.
Hmm.
Yeah, oh, you're welcome. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So I guess maybe we should look at some news, unless DeWolf would like to add a fifth point.
What now? Well, the news is what we're doing, is what Pixels has going on.
Yeah, I agree.
The fact that Todd's drawing Thor, and I'm moving forward with my project. So that's news.
I agree, 100%. And Todd's got some really cool things going on. There's a lot of good stuff going on. Actually, Eric's got a new thing coming in April. I do have some sad news, which isn't in our actual news. No, it is. Actually, I'll save it. I'll save it for the actual news, because I think it's time we go do the news. So here we go. Let me come over and share it, so the people in here can see. There we go. And do that, and then jump over. All right. So the first bit of news we're going to cover on today's comic book news is, oh, look at that beautiful man. Now this is from that Green Lantern movie that came out with, was it Ryan Reynolds? That's who it was originally, right?
Yeah, that's Ryan Reynolds.
Mhm.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds. Now that movie got absolutely hated upon. I mean, just dumped on in an incredible way, which I think was unfortunate, because the first 70% of that movie, 60, 70% of that movie was actually pretty good. It was the ending that dropped the ball hardcore, which, before I get into that, let me ask this question. I have seen so many things over these past decade. Why can these Hollywood types, or I just mean the entertainment types, why can't they finish a damn story in movie modes and TV modes? I mean, Lost, horrible ending. Game of Thrones, horrible ending. The Marvel saga with Endgame, horrible ending. And I just watched a thing recently, which is a BBC thing, but it's Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. Now, if you haven't watched that, go check it out. It's a pretty cool period piece about magic, or magicians. But the ending was absolute crap, man. I mean, it's like, what are you doing, right? So
I think they're trying to. I think they're trying to appease the masses. I think it's give them what we think that they want. It's almost like if you're in politics, they want to take a poll to see what they should do versus just doing the right thing. And so, well, I mean, which is what you're asking for. You're asking for a writer to write the characters, look at the characters, find a culmination to the story to end it, and
Yeah,
and,
well,
and that's the way you should do it.
yeah, but see, you and I both wrote right, and we know that the
Yeah,
first thing you do, you start with the ending. I don't get it. How can
yeah.
you? It's just, you're probably right, but it just irritates the hell out of me. And this movie could have been great, but they just screwed up the ending, dude. And I don't
Yeah.
know why did you have to do that. But I did love this guy as Sinestro. I thought he was really cool. And this article basically is the fact that HBO Max is making a Green Lantern series, live action, I'm assuming, and it will feature Sinestro, which rock on, right? I mean, I'm happy with that. Are you? What do you guys think?
That's worth a shot.
Hmm.
I mean, they got to do something because of another show. So,
What other show?
well, I don't know. You have the Watchmen in your news, right?
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
get to that in a second. But
I,
I, you
I
know,
don't know. I liked the movie about the same as you. The
yeah.
first part of the movie I thought it built up okay, was doing all right, and then it just kind of lost its place. But I think some of that's designed by committee, directing by committee, whatever. You got too many people trying to put their own spin on things instead of just sticking to the actual material that it's based on. And they try to mash a bunch of stuff up, make everybody happy, and it winds up getting everybody pissed.
Yeah, and it just was dumb the way they went
Yeah.
about it. All you had to do was have Hal Jordan introduced like you did. That was all fine. Abin Sur, that was great. Not Abin Sur. Oh, damn it. What's the guy that gave him the ring? Well, Abin Sur is of course Apocalypse. What's his name? Todd. Damn it. I'm not getting any help.
Uh,
The guy
Same
that
thing
gave
for me.
Hal the
you talking
ring.
about
The chat's going to figure it out. I know, but that's all right. But anyway, that was all great. And then you have it come in, and the Guardians are doing the typical stupid stuff that they always do because they're arrogant and aloof, and they are not in touch with reality whatsoever. And they tick off Sinestro, and he leaves. He creates a kind of a rebellion, and you have the beginning of that rebellion in movie one, and then movie two, you continue it. Right? That's what they. I don't know why you would do anything else. I don't get it. What is this weird poop cloud parallax? I don't get it. But whatever.
And then he creates a couple jets to save him from the sun.
Yeah, no, it's just
Couple,
dumb, dude, man.
yeah.
Oh, God, it killed me. And that's why it got so much hate because people tend to remember the last thing they see, not the first thing they see, right? But it was the simplest format. You had a solid cast. All you had to do is just have Sinestro's rebellion against the Guardians, and you would have had a good, solid first movie, and you would have been able to lean into the second one much heavier, where he became a Yellow Lantern. It could have been a fun little series, right? Anyway,
Coulda.
yeah, it's just this continuing problem where Hollywood cannot end a damn story, and it's particularly if they're going to keep hanging on this Jar Jar Abrams guy, because he most certainly can't end nothing. He
No.
sucks bad at trying to end a story. He can't do it. He can't. I don't know. Next. Oh, what is this? Oh yeah, no. This is kind of the news I almost mentioned. I forgot to mention, so because I'm going to mention it in a minute. But the Final Fantasy VII remake and the Avenger games are being delayed from Square Enix. Now, I don't know what kind of video game players we have in here. Usually, Booster's kind of my video game guy, but of course, the Final Fantasy remake looks great. People are really excited about it, and it's been pushed back because either they bit off more than they could chew, or they just whatever the reasons are. And this article's explanations and ideas don't matter. They just don't matter because the real reason we won't know. But the Avengers game, I think the reason why that's being delayed is very different because it's not anywhere near finished and it kind of looks like it sucks bad, which is really unfortunate because you guys know how long it's been since we've had a Marvel video game. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Spider-Man, what, year and a half
Well,
ago?
I'm that's Sony. I give you.
Mm,
I'm not talking about the comic books. I'm talking about, Marvel proper.
Marvel.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
gotcha.
The Spider-Man game was freaking epic. That did
Yeah.
really, really well. But yeah, no, and one of the problems we've had with having those is because a long time ago, I can't even remember how many, it's a long, long time ago. You had a video game come out with the mutants. You could play three different characters, but people really were upset because it was like literally a 4-hour video game. I mean, it was ridiculous that you went and paid a full AAA price for a 4-hour video game, right? People were very upset with it, and it was before they got into loot boxing. It was kind of the first attempt at loot boxing in a way, just giving you this cheap, once or twice a year content that they're just sucking money out of you, right? It's where it kind of began, I think. But and then they announced doing an MMO. massive online multiplayer game with Marvel, and it was like, yeah, cool, because DC came out with DC Universe, which was for all those guys from City of Heroes that had gone at first did Champions, then they came over into DC Universe, and it was all right. It was a beautiful game, and we were like, yeah, we're going to get one of those from Marvel. Oh, it's going to be awesome. What did we get? We get the Marvel, whatever they call it, Marvel Heroes thing, where you could play each hero, but you couldn't make your own hero. And it was complete lack of conceptual understanding of what video gamers want, right? And then and that thing ran, but the full support got pulled like almost immediately, and it just ran for a while. And we haven't had anything other than just cheesy little loot box mobile games since. Nothing. So the announcement of this was pretty big deal last E3. Right, or two E3s ago, and the fact that it looks so bad, and oh god, it looks so woke. It's like a dagger in the heart, man. I'm sorry. That was a rant. Anybody have any comments on that?
Just a brief one, and that's back to writers and movies and endings. It's funny. There's a large group of writers in video games. We talk about comic books too, but in video games, there's a lot of these with stories, and they have some cool stories. Now, some of them
Mm,
are absolute, crud, and those. But it's funny how there are so many good games out there that one of the best parts about them is the storyline itself, and
hmm
you're playing through a movie, and
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to see some of those writers actually get into other media like movies, so where they could just bring it to audiences directly.
Yeah, no, no, no. And you've seen people like Spielberg and Peter Jackson and other creators like that. Of course, Guillermo del Toro is involved with the Kojima project, of course. They all see that, and they've been working toward that for quite a while. They agree. But of course, connected to this news is another bit of news. Let me come over here and read it. This is a tweet from CD Projekt Red. And if any of you guys know who CD Projekt Red is, you know how awesome they are, because this not only is a great video game company that takes pride in what they do, they also refuse to step in line with this woke culture stuff. They refuse. And matter of fact, they mock it. Right, and of course they're the creators of The Witcher, amongst other things, and their Cyberpunk is coming out this year, and it's the most anticipated title of the decade. This could possibly be the biggest video game of all time. It has the potential to do that, and I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm really not. This is going to be a major drop when it happens. The problem is, we've been waiting a long time, dude, and they were supposed to come out here in April, but it's not. We have important news regarding Cyberpunk 2077 release date we'd like to share with you today. Cyberpunk 2077 won't make the April release window, and we're moving the launch date to September 17th, 2020.
2077? Oh, never mind.
No, 2020, yeah. We are currently at a stage where the game is complete and playable, but there's still work to be done. Night City is massive, full of stories, content, and places to visit. But due to the sheer scale and complexity of it all, we need more time to finish playtesting, fixing, and polishing. We want Cyberpunk 2077 to be our crowning achievement for this generation, and postponing launch will give us the precious months we need to make the game perfect. Now,
Yeah,
I'm completely fine with this because I
yeah,
trust them. You see, you know, this is a
yeah. You
Polish
don't
company,
want.
by the way.
Oh, definitely. I mean, that makes it awesome right there. You don't want a Fallout New Vegas to happen, where it's got some great elements to it, and then it just sort of flounders. You know.
Yeah, yeah, cool. I guess we don't have a lot of video game people on here. That's all right. I know that some of you in the chat, and there's no way I wasn't going to talk about this today.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. Actually, my kid is looking forward to it more than me. He's been all over it. Like, oh, he wants to get the book. He wants to get all this other crap. I
Right.
just wanted this game so bad in April. He's gonna be pissed.
Yeah, no, but I'm okay with it because
Yeah,
I trust CD Projekt Red. I trust them because they have done nothing but prove my trust, right, over the years. And this game legitimately could be a game of a generation, legitimately. right? And
Like a new Halo, a new Fallout. Yeah.
yeah, no, remember Halo when that came out, man? I was actually thinking
Yeah.
about that the other day. Just a little aside here, because a lot of times I'm working and translating or do whatever I'm doing, and I'll have a video playing on the side. I'm more listening to it than
I
watching it.
agree. Yeah,
Yeah, thank you, Booster. But no, Booster, you're a perfect person to have me come and talk about this because
that's why I jumped in.
I know, dude. But
hmm
if you think about video games and named characters whose names are known, of course, there's plenty. I mean, if you're a WoW
Mario,
player, sorry, go ahead.
Mario.
Well, Mario's named for sure, Sonic. But there's a lot of video games where the people who are really into the video game, of course, they can name characters, but not the general public, right? But one of those characters that's come up for me that is a named character that is fairly well known is Styx.
Goku. Oh,
You don't agree, Booster?
did you say sticks?
Yeah, the Goblin stealth thief game.
Oh, really? He's a big known character. I didn't know the game made it big.
It had two. It had a sequel. Mm.
Oh,
But he's
yeah,
just one of
yeah.
those characters that sticks in your
That's
head,
pretty fun.
What do you think about Cyberpunk news, dude?
Did you do that on purpose?
I maybe.
Oh. Well, Cyberpunk, yeah, I'd say delays are always a good thing. I know it sucks to hear, right? But
Mm,
a very famous Japanese man once said that a delayed game can be eventually good and a rushed game is forever bad.
that's right.
And what I bought very recently, Pokemon Sword, was a very rushed game,
Mm,
right?
mm,
And now they're trying to fix in all the little mistakes they made with DLC, and it's quite obvious. I would prefer a game do this, delay themselves, then rush the game, then try to fix it in post with updates and DLC. Yeah, I
and
find this far
yeah,
more preferable.
yeah, and
I know,
rushing is
it
the
gets you
trend,
all,
right?
and yeah, it is absolutely trends. You know, Ubisoft, EA, they've all been doing it for years,
Yeah.
especially with their yearly releases, and something we shouldn't keep falling for. But a lot of gamers are normies, and they disgust me.
Yeah. Early release betas, and then we go into production with lots of patches.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. No,
So I want to.
Bethesda's been real, and it's too bad, man. Bethesda has fallen so far. Go ahead,
Mhm.
DeWolf.
I want to bring up another thing like this, just because I want to throw this out into the ethosphere. Another type of game out there was Car Wars. You remember Steve Jackson's Car Wars?
Sure. Oh yeah, that was fun.
I'd
Good tabletop.
love to see that turn into a franchise. If whoever has that copyright, bring it out, you give it to somebody, write a screenplay. I want to see that world. It's kind of Mad Maxy,
Yeah.
but it's back into high tech as well,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just so cool of a world. And the arena dueling behind the cars, and then you can throw in. There's a lot of games out there where you're driving and shooting. I mean, but so this could be in that world, driving and shooting, but having the movies and having the RPG aspect of it, I think it would be such a cool world to see come back to us
Well,
gamers.
I kind of wonder. I don't know the answer to this. Maybe someone in the chat does. But Car Wars was one of Steve Jackson Games' plastic bag games, right? It was a small little, we call them envelope game back in the day, even though it was in a
At
plastic bag.
first, yeah.
Yeah, that's where it started, right? He had a bunch of them they put out. They were cheap to make, and they would make money off it. Steve Jackson is a interesting company to talk about because it shows you how you make money at that, right? But anyway,
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious because that's early '80s, right? I mean, maybe mid '80s at latest. I'm
Yeah,
wondering
early
if they've
80s.
ever made a game on that, dude. You think a video game ever came out in some in the '90s or something?
Yeah, it's called Auto Duel,
Oh, really?
and it's 4-color 8-bit pixel.
hmm
I mean, no offense. And and it's blocky.
Mm.
It worked for its time,
Mhm.
I guess. You
Yeah,
can still find
obviously, yeah.
you can look it up on Wikipedia or some other freeware or abandonware type
What was the name again?
things out there. Steve Jackson's Auto Duel.
Auto Duel. All right, cool. I
Yeah.
agree with you though. It's not just Car Wars. It was another really good one. I think could be a great lore thing. What was the name of that one? They just came out with the most impressive Kickstarter about 6, 7, maybe 8 years ago. What was that other one, dude? It had like the gigantic land tanks. Um,
The ogre.
yeah, Ogre. Yeah, Ogre. That's another one, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, Steve Jackson Games, boy. Talk about now. We're diving deep, baby. That's deep nerddom right
Yeah.
there. Yeah,
And they're still out there. They're just not. They're just not the big, WotC or D20 stuff anymore.
true, true. Well, anyway, let's continue on because we're almost out of time. So let me see what I want to talk about here today. We have the an alien coming out from Dark Horse, which can be kind of cool. We'll wait and see if we
Ooh,
have more information on
cool.
that. Let's do this one since Booster's in here. Okay, go ahead, Booster.
Excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Lindelof exits HBO's Watchmen definitively. Definitively? Definitively.
Definitively, meaning he's really out. Yeah.
He's really out for really. Yeah, screw off, you bastard.
Mhm.
What kind of arrogant prick takes one of the most beloved comic books of all time, right?
Yep.
And decides I can add more to this, and then he turns it into anti-white propaganda.
Oh yeah.
Who the fudge does that?
SJWs, dude.
Typical SJW bullshit. And he is gone because people didn't like this. You'd see that if you go to your Rotten Tomatoes, your critics, and you look up all the glowing reviews of this show.
Mhm.
You'll say the similar things over and over again. And I see all the same damn excuses, man. People say Watchmen is fine. It was always woke. It was always SJW. But you know what it would never was? You know what Watchmen, the graphic novel, never was? It was never anti-white bullshit.
No, no.
So,
He's always anti-establishment, anti-government is what he is. Yeah.
yes. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm never going to be the guy that tries to argue that comics were never political, right? Because Watchmen was definitely freaking political for its time, right?
Of
But
course.
this damn show, man, oh my
There's a
god, the
there's a
hatred for the
there-
white people was dripping from it.
there's a phrase that we like to use that talks about how their politics were before, and that's show don't tell. They
That's
just kind of
right.
showed us how that world's politics worked,
Mhm.
but they didn't come out and tell us and cram it down our throats
Preach. Yeah, that's right. Very,
and
very
preach
true.
it. Hey, I gotta be going, guys. This
All
was
right.
great fun. Catch you on the other side.
Hey, thanks, Wolf. Talk to you later, man. All right, and of course we have another article covering the same thing, but from a slightly different angle, because this is saying he's out, but that doesn't mean anything. So what? He's out. But this is definitively
Mhm.
showing the death of Watchmen Booster.
Oh, so it could. So they can keep up their bullshit with some other talentless hack. That's nice. That's lovely.
Yeah. So the season 2 is not happening. It's dead. Watchmen's done. And of course,
Done.
which
Oh,
brings us back to our first story because they have announced a Green Lantern story series coming out on HBO Max.
on
So
HBO. That is so weird.
yeah, it is. It's
But all right,
interesting
okay.
timing.
It's not going to be another damn Greg Bertinelli thing, is it?
I'm sure they'll find a way to screw it up, dude.
Uh,
Yeah. But this is a good thing because not only is it not good, it's not, the production value is not good. It's hateful. It's pure bigotry.
deeply hateful show.
Yeah, and that's
Deeply hateful show.
what do we want that for? Anyway, and speaking of these things, we got a bunch of these things today, and it's really cool. Here's another TV series coming. Uh
Oh my god.
boy.
Warhammer 40k TV series in the works, in the workshops.
Games Workshop. Dude, anybody have an opinion on this? Because there's you got the Witcher one, which is going on, which is not my cup of tea. You got Magic the Gathering show is also coming, which could be interesting, but keep in mind
That's
Magic
a
has been a
revival.
little bit corrupted. Magic the Gathering, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's a lot of TV shows coming, man. That's shifting. Did you think we'd ever go back to TV shows? I kind of figured movies were to take the future, but I was wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we got the budget to keep TV shows going, and people, they want more, right? They want it now. They want more. I want it now to consume.
Yeah.
Consume.
So cool. And there's not much to talk about. I mean, we could do a whole show talking about Warhammer 40K. Maybe we should, dude.
Go either way.
Because
Yeah.
one thing I'm thinking about doing, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit later on the drone recorder as well. I'm thinking about adjusting the schedule a little bit. And
Yeah.
because Sunday we got TFT, which is a lot of fun, and you guys seem to enjoy it. We get a bunch of people coming to watch that.
Mhm. People
We
keep
got our
coming back for it, so yeah.
yeah, and it's fun too. Of course, it has nothing to do with comic books. But Monday we have our California show for comics news, right? Tuesday we got Bugbear's Basement, and I understand that it's a more niche thing, a smaller group, but I'm loving that personally, so I'm going to keep
Yeah.
doing that for sure. We got that on the Tuesday, and then on Wednesday we've been doing just a comics news show. Then today we have comics news and drone and quartered. All right. And then we have a day off. Then we have fan speak on Saturday. What I'm thinking about doing, and I'm kind of curious what the chat has to say and what everybody in here has to say. What I'm thinking about doing is dropping this show and bringing the Drawn and Quartered Fan Edition down 1 hour to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and just only doing one show on that day like I do all the other days. And then taking fan speak off of Saturday and just having a that would give me a 2-day weekend. Taking Fanspeak off of Saturday and dropping it on Wednesday.
I think it's our artists we should be consulting about a drawn and quartered, not our audience.
Well, that's true. That is a fair point. Because I can just leave that at 10. I can leave that at 10 if that's a problem. But I'm thinking about dropping this show and moving Fanspeak over to Wednesday. What do you guys think about that?
I don't mind it at all. It's your game, baby, and I'm just I'm available all the time. I got
Well,
nothing better to do.
that's not true at all, dude. From day one, this show has been a team effort, a group effort. This has never been my
Oh,
thing. Matter of fact, I've never done a solo show ever.
yeah, true.
Right? So it's not actually true. What do you think, Todd?
Good idea.
So you have no problem with it. Let me see here.
Well,
Let me see the
I
chat.
think I don't know what the whole 9 o'clock Monday thing serves. Does
I
it
just
really?
was trying to be nice.
Yeah, but is it? Wouldn't it work better for you just to stay on a certain target? Stay on target.
Oh, you mean always have it 8 p.m.? I don't
Hmm.
know. I think it works, and I just like having a California show. Maybe I don't
I
know.
thought you did it later because you had a show beforehand.
No. We moved it later because we were getting a lot of people who lived in California that were complaining that they couldn't catch it live because it was during their work time. So moving it back an hour, or when they were just getting home, so moving back an hour would allow more people to come on. Now I don't know how effective it was. Roger says it's your show. Yeah, well, no, it's our show, isn't it? This has always been that way here. And I'm not about to change that. I am looking at the chat right now and seeing what everybody thinks. 6 p.m. West Coast might be hard for some artists. Yeah, no, I can leave that at 10. I don't have a problem with that. I would just because we have people also that it's very late. So where's that middle rank ground? But I don't care leaving it at 10. That's not the point. I just thinking about trying to reduce myself from a 5 hours of talking and doing a show and then doing a full day's work to say maybe 2.5 hours and then doing a full day's work. I'm just really being selfish, really. Yeah, and take 2 days off, man. Well, I'm thinking about getting my weekend back, and the reason I said because I did take Saturday off, which my Saturday, which is your Friday. I had to take that off simply because I don't have it every weekend, but I do have governmental responsibilities. 'Cause I'm like in charge of there's a city to the north, and I'm in charge of like the kids English club type of thing. So I have to deal with that a couple times a month. So I just was like, I just screw it. Let's just remove that day. But that the next day, which is a Sunday, I do fan speak, and my wife kind of gives me sideways glances because it's kind of her day. Now we do go out after the show and go take a drive or do something every Sunday, but I think she would rather leave earlier to get home earlier. I'm just thinking of myself really, and my wife. So
Hmm.
no comments. All right. Yeah, see, Dr. Venkman says 9 p.m. Eastern works best. See, so it's when I talk about drawing quarter, it's kind of a mixed opinion. You should put out a poll on your community tab as to which time zone people are in. We already did that. We already did that, and that's why we're kind of stuck where we are. And one of the cool things I have to say, I do need to get out of here because I got to go make another show. But the cool thing I have to say on this conversation is, in the beginning when we came out, when everything was all copacetic and everyone was happy. A lot of the bigger channels, they went on a little bit later or something, and we had that nice little 8 p.m. window. So there was research that went into making that decision about the 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It wasn't just random. It was thought out, and so yeah. But I'm thinking I'm going to do that as long as I don't have any really hard pushback against it. I think I'm going to move FanSpeak to Wednesday, and I'm going to drop this show and just do the drawn and quartered on Thursday. So are you cool with that, Booster?
I love it.
All right, and Todd's cool with it.
Mhm.
Sweet. All right. If you guys don't like it, yell at me. Anyway, it is definitely time to get out of here. So Todd, go ahead and say some words to the people and give me your closing comments. Maybe something you're working on or whatever like that.
Oh, I can show you. How about that? How about I show you?
That's
No,
No, I'm
always
just show.
best, dude. Show don't tell. I agree.
Just show us, Todd. Whip it out.
Oh, God.
working on a panel, inking a face.
Ooh.
I'll make it bigger.
Yeah, make it bigger. I'm sorry.
Jesus.
Jackass.
Now, who's this character?
So that's the Thor character.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't look
Yeah,
like
it
Thor
doesn't
with his
scream
beard.
Thor at all, dude. I know that's not your
Because
choice.
I don't want to. Yeah, but that's the last thing you want to do is, have any kind of comparison. Oh, they're just doing another Thor. You know what I mean? It's like, oh shit,
No, I get you. I get that too. I guess I understand both sides of it, but yeah, cool. It's nice to see these little tidbits coming out from that project you're working on with the terrific comics. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So sweet. Definitely looking forward to that, guys, and thank you for coming on, Todd. And of course, today, what this means is that well, I don't know, Todd, can you namaste, or is that kind of going to be Booster's job?
No, here's the thing. Honestly,
Uh-huh.
I know people will. I looked into this one time because I had a friend that would always do that, like namaste, right? And it's really a Hindu thing. It's not a yoga thing.
I know that.
So when people do that, like she was into yoga and thought it was kind of cool and stuff, and I'm like, the Hindus wouldn't want you to say that and associate it with yoga because it's really not any association
Pretty
Oh,
sure
whatsoever.
should
nobody
we
here is
quote?
doing yoga. Pretty sure.
No,
Fairly
no,
sure.
no, I know.
You don't know. I could be
It's
doing yoga.
it's really a blessing,
I'm
or
doing yoga right now,
I
baby.
guess you call it a blessing. Isn't it more like a blessing, like the light in me says hi to the light in you, or something?
No,
like
it's
that?
kind of like hello. It's thrown
Oh,
around
and
all day long. It's the most common thing to say. Yeah.
if we must have a Hindu quote, then should we quote the Bhagavad Gita?
We should. Why not? Go ahead. Bring
All
it up.
right.
So go ahead,
Okay.
Booster.
Well, to convince the prince to do his duty, Vishnu took on his multi-armed form and pronounced, "I am now become God, destroyer of worlds.
Yeah.
Namaste."
Namaste, baby. And of course, that is an acknowledgement of, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. All right. Well, nice way to namaste us out with nuclear weapon and death. Thank you, Booster.
That's from
Thank
the
you
Bhagavad
guys.
Gita.
Later.
Aloha.